Like everybody on planet Earth, I have been watching Physical 100 on Netflix, and I have been enthralled. As a certified personal trainer of 15 years, I am really interested in how these people from different disciplines with different body types and different strengths and weaknesses are competing in these challenges and seeing who can do the best. So I thought I might do some videos about what I think is good strategy for this latest quest, the second quest, which is the bridge building and moving sand. It's actually called moving sand, but it really comes down to building that bridge. We'll get to that later. Let me first describe what this is. So they elected really 10 team leaders, and they decided whose team they would want to be on. And then it went down the line kind of, and people were rejected by the team leader because they didn't have enough space on their team. They ended up with 10 teams of 5 people each. And team number 10, which was the 10th selected team leader, was considered to be the weakest team because nobody else really maybe wanted some of these guys, and they just kind of ended up together on this team. First big mistake is thinking that any of these teams are going to be weak in the first place. These people were 100 people selected to be on this show. They're all strong, and then they each had to win a one-on-one fight for a ball in order to be in this top 50. So none of them are weak. So right away, if you're thinking this team's weaker than mine or I'm stronger than that team, you're way, way, way off mark. You are going to be lost in the sauce of your own hubris, and you are much more likely to lose this event. So if rule number 1 is don't think that you're going to win or going to lose based on what team you ended up on, rule number 2 is going to be to quickly evaluate what the challenge is. In this case, they are given a half-constructed rope and log bridge, rope and plank bridge, and they are tasked to complete the bridge by putting planks with Velcro straps on the ropes, complete the bridge, and then bring as much sand in bags as possible across the bridge. And you're ferrying it back and forth, and you have to go upstairs carrying as much sand as you can across this rickety bridge and deposit it at the other end. You have 12 minutes to do this task. So first you have to think, what are the most important components of this task, right? You need a good strategy. That is going to be your first number 1. In fact, I made a helpful visual aid. The number 1 point is strategy. And after this is the fork, where you either have a great strategy or it all goes downhill. The next fork is execution. You have to make this strategy go off without a hitch. Smooth, flawless, quick implementation of that perfect strategy. Execution is where it can go downhill. Now, the third is talent. Talent is third. So all those guys who are saying, oh, our team is so much stronger, we have such stronger guys, it does not matter. Talent comes after strategy and execution for a reason, because that's going to be the tiebreaker at the end. If you do these things better, talent doesn't mean jack. So now that we know the general objectives, let's look at the specific tasks that we have to perform in this challenge. The number one thing that we have to do, because we have 12 minutes, we got to bang it out. Build a bridge quickly and perfectly. I cannot stress this enough. You have to build that bridge so that the boards aren't going to pull up from it. There's not going to be huge gaps. Your people who are carrying tens of, maybe even 100 pounds of sand on their back need to be able to cross it, and they need to be able to cross it quickly without falling down, stumbling, without having to stop and fix the bridge. So you need to build that bridge quickly and perfectly. This should take 2 of your people. Just, everybody carries up the planks, then 3 hang back, but 2 of your people should be up there, one at the front placing the planks down, another one handing him each plank, and preferably getting the Velcro off to the sides and handing him the plank so that the Velcro's already off and he just needs to lay it down and wrap it around. Now I say he, knowing that any of these tasks could be done by women as well, but there just aren't, sadly, that many women at this stage of the competition, so I'm just using he as a general term. My second task on the task list is fill sandbags to capacity continuously. Now, I'm not saying to capacity to say they have to be completely full. That might not be within the scope of your teammates' ability to carry or move. Sand is surprisingly heavy. Now, I've done a lot of Spartan races. I know what a bag of sand weighs. And a lot of the bags of sand that they're carrying look like they weigh anywhere from 30 for the smaller handheld bags to, if they're slugging it over their shoulder, some of those probably weigh upwards of 90 pounds. So these guys are hauling a lot of sand at once. So you need to fill the sandbag to the capacity that your team can carry, and you need to do so continuously. One person should be stuck in that sand pit filling bags with sand. And that person should be your weakest competitor. I'm saying this, weakest, meaning physically weakest, can't carry that much sand all at once. Because when you're filling the bags, you don't need to carry that much sand all at once. You can fill a bag, you don't have to move the bag. You can just fill the damn thing. And they're doing this total bitch work of filling these sandbags the entire 12 minutes, okay? From the word go. They're not building the bridge, they are just filling the sandbags because that is very important work. And you don't want your runners to have to stop and do it. So if you can keep those sandbags full, even if you are physically the weakest person on your team, you are contributing invaluably to your team's eventual victory. And the third and final task is move as much sand as possible, as quickly as possible. Smooth is fast. Seriously, I cannot stress this enough. Smooth is fast. You need to move smoothly. Don't just sprint up the stairs and then have to huff and puff. Just go smoothly as quickly as you can. Cross the bridge, dump it out, go back. You got the person filling up the sandbags at the other end. Drop your sandbag that you had, the empty one, so that she can fill it back up, he or she, and then get the new sandbag and get back up there. If you keep this going, you've got your stronger people moving bags of sand, preferably by slinging onto their back. They could actually sling 2 bags of sand onto their back. It's going to be a heck of a lot more efficient than trying to grip 2 bags of sand in their hands and walk with those. Not only that, because the bags of sand are going to be over your center of mass, it's going to be a lot easier to cross that bridge. You don't want these bags and you're having to balance with these 2 bags of sand at your sides when it could be on your center mass. And I saw a couple people when they were crossing the bridge, they were putting their feet really far apart thinking that it would give them more stability. No! It's like you're crossing a tightrope, brother. You need to put your feet together. You need to go in a line. You need to go down the center of that bridge. Don't go over to a side, but go down the center of the bridge. Don't try and do a wide stance. That's not going to help you. Smooth is fast. That is critical. Absolutely critical. In watching this quest, I was very impressed with how many of the teams did realize quickly what the ideal strategy should be as far as the bridge. They saw immediately, look, we've got 12 minutes. We build this bridge quickly. Any amount of time that gives us is an advantage. That's why I said your first task is to build the bridge quickly and perfectly will give you even more seconds later on, because you not only have this bridge that you built maybe a minute faster than the other team, but you have a bridge that you're not going to have to spend 15 seconds here, 30 seconds there fixing or trying to navigate. So the more time you are actually spending moving the sand from one side to the other is going to make or break you. Even if you are a physically weaker team and you can only move maybe 70 pounds of sand per trip, as opposed to the guys who can move 90 or 100, if you are able to make 2 or 3 more trips per person because you got yours done so fast and you are moving smoothly and you've got your strategy with the sand filler over there, you're going to win. And you're going to move on to the final round of the 25 that are going to be left. And it doesn't matter if your team was the weakest or the strongest, because like we said, strategy and execution are far more important than talent. So I hope you liked this video. I am hoping to do some more for the future. I might go back and do the first 2 challenges that they had, but honestly, there wasn't really much to it as far as hanging for a long time. They all did a good job of, using their joints and locking in. I was very impressed with that because I felt like a lot of people might just try and dead hang, which you're going to last, if you've got great grip strength, you might last a few minutes, but it's not going to be like the 15 minutes that ended up winning. So, and then the second was just like a gladiator style one-on-one, 3 minutes, whoever has the ball at the end wins. And for that, it's really just about, there is some strategy, but it's just about kind of who you pick and what strategy you almost mutually decide on. Whether you're just going to like wrestle for a while and then sprint for the ball, like whoever has the upper hand at the end of the wrestling match has the opportunity to sprint for the ball because they're on top. Or whether you do like a kind of agility-based kind of thing. So this is where team strategy really came into play, and I just thought it was so much fun to watch. So we'll see what the next quest is.